So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at the campus improvement plan and through the SEL lens. So this is what our agenda looks like today. I did a brief introduction to it in the A team. So for the teachers here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the current plan, the campus improvement plan. We're going to go through it. We're going to look and identify problems that we have, and then we are going to take that and start to write the goals for next year, because as you know, we've not had a normal year for the last couple years. So the plan that has been written hasn't been able to be totally effective because we keep having things change. So with what we have, with what our gaps are, and what we are seeing with our students, we need to make some adjustments. And so part of this is to help our principal and work on the plan. So we're here as the committee to start that work. So we have counselors here to help. We have our instructional coach. We have our district personnel, and we have our principal, and we have teachers. Now the two teachers that are here because one of Avid, of course, which is a really strong component of our school, and also because of their passion for SEL. And that's social emotional learning, and not just the one day, to build it into the whole campus. And so we're going to look through the lens of social emotional learning as we write these goals, as we make the action plan for the next year. So before we get started, we'll just go around. I want you to take a second. We're skipping the time to play because I think Dr. Westphal comments were this morning. That counts as play. You know, just get to sit and listen and enjoy it. But I did bring, like I said, when we take a break, you can do the Spheros. All you have to do is log in with your Keller account, and you can open up the app, you have to download the app, open it up on the iPad, and you can test it out and see how these work. They're really cool. I think it's probably one of the best library purchases because they are so engaging and it can take in so many curriculum components. So that is, then we're going to take a minute and you're going to tell me one thing you're grateful for. And we'll start over here and work our way this way. So, teacher one.
So I am grateful for people on campus that are supportive of everybody. And that's very, it's very generic, but I think every single person in this room at one point I've said, can you do me a favor? And everybody just said, absolutely. And that's kind of everybody's response. So I'm grateful for people that are supportive because not every campus is like that. So,
instructional coach?
I am grateful for the changes and the growth that I've gotten to see on this campus in the past almost 4 years. Just to see it start as an unnamed school 6 years ago when I first was told I was going to move up to 5th grade at Basswood, to now we have an entire campus full of amazing kids and incredible staff, and the fact that I've gotten to be part of the growth of that has been awesome.
Right. Teacher two?
I'm grateful for being on a campus that is open to ideas from an EDLE teacher like myself. It's coming from where I was last year to now. It's just nice that people listen and kind of get on anything.
And I'm grateful for the other side of that. You know, I'm grateful for a campus full of people that lead from where they're at, that feel like, you know, I can come forward with an idea and I can have a voice in this process, and just using Monday of this week as an example. You know, the people in this room were on a time when a lot of people were at home and maybe not thinking about the work side. The people in this room were worried about our kids and what they needed when they came back, and came forward with an idea that was driven, that was teacher driven, that was created by you guys, that was built by you guys, and we've received a ton of positive feedback from that. And that's just one example of so many things this year where the best ideas that have been implemented at a campus level have come straight from the people doing the hardest work, the teachers in the classroom. So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. And
Yeah, I'm from the district level. I'm just grateful that we're open and serving kids, but really to be here and see a group of people who really have kids at heart, like in everything you do, is so incredible to see.
And of course, I am very grateful you guys have come both in person and virtually. I'm grateful that you guys are willing to work through this and help us to develop a campus improvement plan that includes the voices of everybody, and that we can add in or look through it through SEL lens, because we know that our kids are going to need that. Or need it. We as adults need it. We need to be able to handle some of these situations, and our district personnel, she's going to talk to us in a little bit and give us a reason why it's so important that we use that lens as we go through this process. So then she's gonna talk next about SEL, and I'll have our teachers share the student input from Monday, some of the things that are their concerns. I'm going to introduce you to design thinking, and then we're going to take a look at the current campus improvement plan, look and see what's missing, take a look at the mission statement. Then the big work is identifying problems that we notice in school. And then we're going to set the goals, and then how can go back through and take what we've learned about SEL, and how can that help us achieve those goals and help our students be successful, not just academically, but in their whole life. And how can we help the staff the same way? Now, that whole agenda can't happen today. There is no way we can get through that much stuff. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go as far as we can, and then we will come back and we will revisit it in maybe smaller chunks and divide out and come back and report on some of the things that we have discovered what we want to do, or get feedback from the staff. I know we have a CEIC meeting on Tuesday. We can get some people, parents involved, and so we will be able to get a lot more. All right, so that should give us sufficient time now. Now we can move on and refer to the campus. I'm still going to record it just because I want those who are not here to have that opportunity to get to participate or get to hear it. All right, so everybody at home, you guys can all speak up. We're going to now go over and take a look at, these are the campus, I'm going to move out of the way, the campus, the district values. And I chose just these three just because of the wording in it and the SEL lens. The care for our teachers, because the impact of their work prepares our students for the future. I think one thing Keller has done this year very well is added care pieces in there. Their wellness days, their emergency leave after the storm time, that their teachers and know that they have space and time. These asynchronous days where we're not packed top to bottom with trainings. We know that relationships are the foundations for how we teach, learn, work, and play together in a safe, engaging, and caring way. That's Vista Ridge. For 99% of us are here because we are here to help kids, and we want to develop that relationship. If you ask any teacher, they'll tell you that's what's important. Respect for diversity of our school community through a culture of understanding and personalized learning opportunities. And that is also Vista Ridge, because if you look at, as we go through and you look at the committees that have been formed just from teachers and that who are concerned, you're like, wow, you can say that our campus wants kids to feel welcome here no matter where they come from, what their background is. They want everybody to feel welcome, because it's like these things just pop up and like, I'm like, wow, that as I talk to you guys, it's like, wow, I didn't know we were doing that. I didn't know we were doing that. What Jason told me the other day about what him and Spellman are doing. I'm like, well, we don't know, because there's so many things that are just that is Roots effort. All right, so let's go over to the next one. If you're not familiar with Jamboard, there's going to be like a lot of, I think, learning pieces. Thanks to Pamela, I use Jamboard now all the time. I use it to write I have now my dissertation stuff up in a Jamboard, because you can move it around, you can think it. So I think it's a great thing to be able to do. All right, so let's move it. Oops, I can't drive backwards. This tells you how well I can back up my car. Not. Oops, I went too far. I went 3. All right, so I'm going to turn the time. I'm going to do driving now, and I'm going to let Marcy go ahead and explain the SEL component and how we're going to use it.
Great, thank you. So I'm not going to read to you the screen. Well, yeah, I am. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So I feel like you guys are all very well versed in what social emotional learning is, but I think what people get hung up on is they get hung up on the E, and that it's emotional. And so I just kind of wanted to clarify with you some things about how social emotional learning really is going to affect your grades and your students' well-being, and like moving them forward in society. So really, social emotional learning is the process through which we regulate our emotions, which is that self-awareness piece, set and achieve goals, which is the self-management piece, grow in empathy, which is your social awareness piece, and maintain healthy relationships, which is relationship skills, and then the making good decisions, which is your responsible decision making. Oh, hi, I didn't know I was on camera. Hi, guys. So the idea here is that if we actually have this, what we call a universal approach, and that means that it's embedded in everything that you do. When those kids come through the door, how do you greet them? How do you talk to each other? So I always tell people, nothing speaks louder than the example of SEL that we set. So I don't care if I drop my coffee on me in the morning, those kids really don't care. When they come through the door, they don't want me to be like, oh, drop my coffee. Now, is it a reality? Yes. And sometimes to share that is great, but then the second step is me walking them through how I handled it. And that's a teachable moment. And I think what concerns me most is some people are afraid to use those teachable moments because of time. And they're like, oh no, it's not in the curriculum. Teachable moments drive the curriculum. I mean, kids literally, when they look back and hear those things, they're like, oh, yeah, that's like when this happened. So it's incredible. So anyway, our idea is if you embed this in everything you do, from the minute they walk in the door to the curriculum pieces, like that embedded in instruction, as well as the interactions in the hall, how they talk to each other, that awareness. Oh, you just looked shocked at what I said. I'm so sorry. Was that offensive to you? Understanding that language and having the give and take, the relationship piece is huge, which of course leads us to where we want them all to be, because they're going to take care of us when we're old. These people are going to be the ones taking care of us, and we're hoping that we taught them how to measure and how to love and how to wheel us down the hall. So it'll make them responsible citizens in society, and it will make all of our lives better. So that is your end result of social emotional learning. And then,
I just went.
So, well, that's okay. So this universal approach is like, there is explicit SEL teaching that does need to happen. And, it's funny, in lower elementary, I mean, that's what they do all day. But really, in upper elementary and even in middle school, we have to teach that too, right? We have to teach those explicit lessons. So that's important, and we have to set some time for it, whether it's advisory, Avid, PALS, even just a morning greeting or a circle. That is an explicit SEL skill, and we got to call it what it is. What I see a lot is teachers forget to say, I like how you approach that situation. That's responsible decision making. And they're like, oh, okay. I mean, just keep saying it, and then they become familiar with what that is. The second part is just those instructional practices, like Avid, like restorative practices, morning meetings, all of those pieces that we embed in our curriculum. Then your academic curriculum piece, this is really important, how you group your kids. When there's language in math about how you problem solve, teaching them like this is how you problem solve it.
in ELA, teaching empathy and using the wording in the curriculum.